Welcome to Nature's Vault, where we uncover Earth's strangest mysteries. Tonight, we step into the haunting silence of Wychwood Forest, also known as the Forest of the Weird. It's been called England's most mysterious woods. And through these ancient trees, it seems like a veil divides us from another world. But what's so eerie about Wychwood is that some say it can't be escaped. For here the trees are steeped in blood, ancient oaks with gaping wounds. And here amongst their roots, restless spirits roam forever. We'll meet villagers who swear they saw the ghost of Amy Robsart, who died here 471 years ago. Locals claim her body was never recovered, and when her ghost appears, she brings a warning. For soon after, one of them dies. Is this mere superstition, or something more sinister? Is there really a curse placed upon those who enter Wychwood Forest and those who seek its secrets? Because tonight we venture into the heart of the woods, where nothing is quite what it seems. In Part 2, we follow eyewitness accounts that bring this legend chillingly to life. But first, welcome back to the channel. If you love myths and legends, please hit subscribe to join our growing community. Also, stick around until the end of the video for more of our chilling tales. Our story begins deep in the Oxfordshire woodland. Behind me stretches Wychwood Forest. From the very top of Mad Hill to the River Glyme snaking below, this vast, ancient woodland has an almost mythical quality. It's hard to imagine that such a wild place even exists just 15 miles from the center of Oxford. Yet somehow Wychwood seems timeless, full of dark winding paths and places where the sunlight struggles to reach the ground. The silence is heavy, broken only by the occasional chirp of a lone bird. It's a beautiful yet haunting place, and for centuries people have claimed that Wychwood is haunted by the spirits of those who have died within it, including Amy Robsart, a young woman whose ghost may hold the key to understanding the strange goings-on in this eerie wood. On November 18, 1560, the wife of Sir Thomas Bridges was found dead at the bottom of a well. She had been reported missing 2 days earlier, and a search party had been organized. But her body was in such bad shape, when they found it, that they couldn't tell if she had been pushed or had fallen accidentally. What made matters worse was that her husband, Sir Thomas, was away at the time of her death, and rumors immediately began to spread that he had murdered his wife. Even though there was no evidence, she was buried in the village of Astall, close to where she was found. A stone was placed at the head of her grave, which read, "Here lies the body of Mistress Bridges, who died November 1560. However, locals were uneasy with how she had died and began to suspect foul play, believing that her ghost might haunt Wychwood. Years later, the stone was removed, and the graveyard fell into disrepair. Today, her remains are lost, and her ghost is free to roam the woods. But Amy isn't the only spirit said to prowl Wychwood. Legend has it that anyone who comes across a particular clearing will be killed before nightfall. Some say the ground itself is cursed. Others blame the 3 ancient oaks at the edge of the space, known locally as the Three Sisters. They are gnarled and twisted, as if in pain, and seem to exude an aura of menace. One is hollowed out completely, like a giant's tooth. Another has 3 large cavities near its base, like angry red eyes glaring out over the forest floor. The locals take great pains to avoid the clearing, not wanting to risk the curse, and for the most part people stay away. That is until the 1970s, when an author named Peter Underwood came to investigate. He decided to spend the night alone in Wychwood, and discovered that the area surrounding the Three Sisters was soaked in water, despite the fact that it hadn't rained for weeks. Later that night, he heard screams in the forest, loud enough to wake the dead. But when he looked outside, he could see nothing in the darkness. Then suddenly, a flash of lightning lit up the sky, and standing directly under the 3 oaks, he saw something horrifying, a tall, thin figure wrapped in a long white sheet. When Underwood realized that the ghostly figure was staring right at him, he began to feel a sense of dread wash over him. The hair on his arms stood on end, and his heart started to pound in his chest. He knew he had to get out of there, so he turned and ran as fast as he could through the winding paths, until he finally reached his car and drove home. But that wasn't the only time someone had dared to spend a night near the Three Sisters. Several years later, a local author and journalist named Paul Cooper wanted to test his mettle. So on the night of August 18, 1978, he camped out beside the Three Sisters. He hoped to capture any sounds or images on tape, but was unprepared for what actually happened. He recalled hearing a woman sobbing nearby, as if in great distress. He sat there listening intently, unsure of what to expect next. Then suddenly, a low, guttural voice whispered right next to him, Get out now." Startled, Cooper quickly packed up his things and fled the scene, convinced that something evil lurked in the shadows of Wychwood that night. In the weeks that followed, Cooper learned of others who had dared to venture too close to the three sisters and suffered terrible fates as a result. There was the case of David, a young man who had laughed at the idea of ghosts, only to be struck down by a serious illness shortly afterwards. Or that of Elsie, who had taken a shortcut through the forest with her dog. When she stopped to tie her shoe, her dog suddenly bit her on the hand, causing her to bleed. A little girl who had picked flowers near the oak trees had been bitten on the nose by an insect, which caused her face to swell up, leaving her blind. These were just a few of the many stories that Cooper uncovered during his investigation, each one serving as a reminder of the danger that lay hidden in plain sight. In the face of such terrifying tales, it's no wonder why many people still avoid the forest today. Some believe that the presence of evil spirits lingering near the three sisters is too great a risk to take, while others simply can't shake off the feeling of dread that seems to permeate the woods. Whatever the reason, Wychwood remains largely untouched by modern society, and its mysteries continue to fascinate those who dare to explore its shadowy depths. For the most part, Wychwood has been left alone, undisturbed by outsiders. This has allowed the forest to thrive and has preserved much of its natural beauty. However, recently, there has been a renewed interest in the legend of Amy Robsart and the curse of Wychwood Forest. Many people have come forward with stories of their own experiences in the woods, claiming to have seen the ghost of Amy and other spirits that are said to haunt the area. Some have even claimed to have been warned by these ghosts, only to find themselves in danger soon after. One such case was that of a young woman named Sarah, told her story to a local newspaper, the Oxford Mail. She had been walking through the woods with her dog, when she suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of fear. She tried to shake it off, but the feeling only intensified, until she finally saw a ghost standing in front of her. It was the ghost of a young woman dressed in 16th century clothing. Sarah claims that the ghost approached her and whispered in her ear, "Beware the trees," before vanishing into thin air. Terrified, Sarah fled the forest, and soon after, she was involved in a serious car accident that left her with a broken leg and a deep gash on her arm. She believes that the ghost had saved her life by warning her of the danger she was in, but others have had less fortunate encounters. There have been several cases of people dying unexpectedly after visiting Wychwood Forest, leading some to believe that there is a curse placed upon those who enter the woods. Of course, there is no evidence to support this claim, and skeptics argue that any deaths that have occurred in the forest are simply a matter of coincidence. But the stories persist, and have only added to the mystery and intrigue of Wychwood Forest. So, is there really a curse on Wychwood Forest? Or are these stories nothing more than superstition? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And now it's time for part 2 of this spine-chilling tale. Join us as we continue to explore the haunted Wychwood Forest and uncover more of its eerie secrets. Don't miss the chance to hear more eyewitness accounts that bring this legend chillingly to life. Click now to watch part 2 and discover the truth behind the curse of Wychwood Forest.